Islam, Islam, Islamism. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most passionate, I seek the forgiveness of Allah, the mighty, whom there is none worthy of worship except Him, the living, the external, and I repent only unto Him. Salah. Islam, I am Deputy Sheikh Carolyn Youngbay, calling out of the Wayne County, North Carolina Republic. I will be facilitating the Holy Night conference call this creation, Friday, October 29th, 2021. Welcome to our National Holy Night conference call given by the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated, number 13, Moorish American National Republic. First, I rise giving all perfect praise and high honors to our Father God Allah. I give honors to all our ancestors, known and unknown, and to all true and divine prophets, naming and recognizing Jesus, Muhammed, Buddha, and Confucius, and the last prophet in these days and times, our Redeemer, our illustrious Hebrew prophet, Noble Drew Ali, in his first, second, and third form. I extend my honors to the forerunner for Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, Islam. Can I be heard? Islam.
You have the floor. I'm not sure what's going on in the holiday meeting, but you are the moderator on the floor right now.
Islam. Okay, I'll start from the beginning, brother. No problem. Islam, Islam, Islamism. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most passionate, I seek the forgiveness of Allah, the mighty, whom there is none worthy of worship except Him, the living, the external, and I repent unto Him. Selah. Islam, I am Deputy Sheikh Carolyn Youngbay, calling out of the Wayne County, North Carolina Republic, and I will be facilitating our National Holy Night conference call this creation, Friday, October 29th, 2021. Welcome to our National Holy Night conference call given by the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated, number 13, Moorish American National Republic. First, I rise giving all perfect praise and high honors to our Father God, Allah. I give honors to all our ancestors, known and unknown, and to all true and divine prophets, naming and recognizing Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius, and the last prophet in these days and times, our Redeemer, our illustrious Hebrew prophet, Noble Drew Ali, in his first, second, and third form. I extend my honors to the forerunner for Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and to our National Grand Sheikh, Joel Bratton Bay, to all national officials, to our sheikhs, sheikesses, deputy sheikhs, deputy sheikesses, brothers and sisters, visitors, guests, and parents, and in our Sunday school and students in our Sunday school and everyone on the call, I greet you all with Islam. As always, as we proceed, we always open with our Moorish American prayer. Those who are able, please stand in an erect posture facing the east. Our heels are together. Our toes are separated at a 45-degree angle. Our upper arms are parallel to the floor. Our forearms are upright with 5 fingers erect and together on the left hand and 2 fingers erect and together on the right hand. Islam. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is our protector, our guide, and our salvation, by night and by day, through our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Ameen. Peace. Islam, at this time, will be reading the Divine Constitution and Bylaws. Islam. Crescent and Star of Salvation, all-seeing eye of Allah, handpressed of unity. The Moorish Science Temple of America, the Divine Constitution and Bylaws. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7, with love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest because on Friday, the first man was formed in flesh, and on Friday, the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and parcel of this government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they must know that they are a part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with their necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God, Allah. Noble Drew Ali, founder. Islam. At this time, Islam. Moors, please remember, if you're not speaking, to mute your lines right now. The call is being recorded. Thank you, Islam. Islam, at this time, we will have the reading of our additional laws of the Moorish Science Temple, Islam. Could I have a reader, please, if anyone's available to read our questionnaire and additional laws for Moorish Americans by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali?
Islam. Bismillah Rahman Rahim. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Peaceful, sister.
Islam.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. Islam. Shabbat Shalom. Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Ever rise and giving perfect praises to Allah, all His true and divine prophets, seen, unseen, known and known and reincarnated, and to illustrious Hebrew prophet in these days and time, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And then those divine honors to our national Grand Sheikh, George Betson Bay, and our officials in Baltimore and other republics, our sheikesses, the sheiks, our children, family, friends, guests on the call. Shout out to Marcus Messiah, God with the forerunner, and to the ancient spirit that guide us through these turbulent times. Islam, Shabbat Shalom. Proceeding the reading of the additional laws from Moorish American by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Act 1. Grand Sheikh and governors and heads of all temples, all businesses. Each said temple must be approved by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali before acting upon by any members, let it be finance, property, or in the line of life that will cause the members to sacrifice finance, etc. That will cause the support of members. Any former officer that violates these laws is subject to be removed from his office under every restriction, etc. by the Prophet or the Grand Sheikh. Act 2. All members are to attend their debt meetings and their public meetings promptly. The meeting is found standing around on their meeting period shall be fined 50 cents on the first case, and on the second, you will be fined $1, which will go on their emergency fund. If member is working, his monthly dues must be paid. And if he has money in the bank, he must subscribe for as much as he is able to the Much Uplifting Fund, because it takes finance to uplift the nation. Act 3. It is lawful and divine duty of every good member, if he is able in finance, to aid me in saving the nation. And if he does not, he is an enemy to thought of uplifting his own people, and justice must catch you. Let it be he or she according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. As I have the power invested in my hands, and I will have to enforce the law in order to save the nation. Act 4. All members, while making a public speech, must not use any assertion against the American flag or speak radical against the church or any member of any organized group, because we are to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Act 5. All members must promptly attend their meetings and send their children to Sunday school, and the teacher must confirm himself to the questionnaire, and let every member exercise his 5 senses who's able to do so, because out from your Sunday school comes the guiders of the nation. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they must know that they are a part and parcel of this government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these men were given to slave by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Lie, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Next 7. All members must attend their meetings and become part and parcel of all of the acts of the Moorish Science Temple. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become part of the system of one humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your Holy Prophet, Noble Joe Lai, through the guidance of his father, God Allah. Here is the reading of 4 additional laws for Moorish Americans by Prophet Noble Joe Lai. Returning the floor to beloved Lepichikis. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Happy Holy Creation Day to all on the call and Muslims all over the world. Sila.
Islam. Thank you, Deputy Sheikh Macaulay. Thank you for reading of our additional laws. Most High bless the reading of our divine constitution and bylaws and our additional laws. Islam. Again, Moors, just a reminder to please keep your phones muted if you're not speaking. Islam. Again, welcome to our National Holy Night conference call given by the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated, number 13, Moorish American National Republic. Happy Holy Day, happy Holy Night to everyone on the call and to all Muslims around the world. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Islam, at this time, I would like to invite all members, guests, and visitors on the call who would like to acknowledge their presence in joining us this evening. Please, at this time, press ** to unmute your phone.
Islam.
Islam, sweetheart, how are you?
Good.
Good. You have the floor, babe.
My name is Anna Day. 5. God for public. My Bible are truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Islamic peace. Happy Holy Day. Islamic peace. Peace, peace, peace. Happy Holy Day.
Islam, my sister, little sister Angel, thank you so much for checking in. So good to hear your vibration. So good to hear your positive energy. Thank you for getting the ball rolling. Thank you so much. Islam family. Anyone else checking in?
Islam.
Islam.
Sheikh is I like to first congratulate you on your destiny and your accomplishments and being able to hold down the holy meeting today. Islam.
Islam, brother. Thank you so very much. So glad you're here to join us tonight. And did you give your name? Did I get your name?
No, Sheikh is, and also I like to Sanders Bay, Cornelius Sanders Bay. I'm pretty sure that was our brother's daughter with the introduction, and that was holy as well. This is Corner Bay checking in. Like to greet everyone on the call with Islam, all the Muslims all around the world, all the mobiles on the phone, to all of the guests. I'd like to greet you all with Islam, Islam and peace.
Islam, brother. Again, thank you so very much for joining us this evening. Such a pleasure to have you with the family tonight. Thank you so much. Islam. Anyone else checking in?
Islam, Sheikhs.
Islam.
Islam family. This is Marcus Troy Reynolds Eel, called out of Connecticut Republic. Wish you one a happy holy night. Islam and peace.
Islam, brother, thank you so much for checking in. Good to have you with us this evening. And just want to make one small correction. I am Deputy Sheikhs, Carolyn Young Bay. Islam. Islam.
Islam.
Islam.
Islam, beloved. All is well with you?
Islam. Yes, sir. All is well. How about with you?
All is well, beloved. It's great to hear your vibration on our Holy Night call.
You as well, brother. You as well.
Islam.
You have the floor.
Islam. Thank you, beloved. Islam, this is Deputy Sheikh Hearns Ill calling out of the Washington State Republic. I just want to say to all my brothers and sisters around the world, no matter where you may be around the world, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Happy holy day, happy holy night to you all. Islam and peace, and I yield the floor to our beloved sister, Islam.
Islam, my brother Deputy Sheikh Hearns Ill, thank you so much for checking in. Good to hear your vibration this evening. Thank you. Islam. Islam?
I yield.
Islam.
Okay, Islam.
Islam.
Islam Deputy Sheikhs, Carolyn Young Bay. Is such a beautiful night. Just calling in. This is Sister Charlene, Culver House Bay, out of the New York Republic. Just calling in to say happy holy night and Shabbat Shalom. Peace.
Islam, Robertus, Sister Culver House Bay, thank you so much for checking in. Appreciate you being with us this evening. Islam. Islam, anyone else checking in?
Islam. Islam Deputy Sheikhs, Carolyn Young Bay. This is
Islam.
Hey, Islam, sister. Great to hear your beautiful vibration on this call this evening. Islam.
You as well, Deputy Sheikhs. You as well.
Islam to my family. This is Deputy Sheikhs Norma Solomon Hill. Calling out of the New York Republic. Just grateful to be in the number one more time. Within my family, all the Moorish American Muslims, conscious and unconscious, a happy, holy night, for the ones on the call, the ones who wish they could be on the call, and everyone around the world. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Turn the floor back over to you, beloved.
Islam, my sister, Deputy Sheikhs Solomon Ill, thank you so very much for being with us this evening. So good to hear your vibration this evening. Thank you for checking in. Islam, family. Anyone else checking in?
Islam. Islam, Deputy Sheikhs. All is well.
Islam, all is well.
Indeed. Good to hear your vibration in this creation.
You as well, sir. You as well.
Thank you much. Islam family, this is your brother, Deputy Sheikh, Mainstream Gray Bay 44, calling out of Massachusetts Commonwealth. Just like to wish all the Moors on the call happy holy day, holy night, and to all the Muslims around the world, Islam and peace.
Islam, Deputy Chief, Mainstream Gray Bay 44. Thank you so much for checking in. So good to hear your vibration this evening. Thank you, Mo. Islam, anyone else checking in?
Islam, I yield.
Islam, thank you, brother. Islam, sister, Deputy Chief.
Islam, Sister Deputy Sheikhs, Carolyn Young Bay. All is well?
All is truly well, sister. How about with you?
All is well. Thank you. Islam
You have
family, this is Islam sister. This is your sister, Deputy Sheik is calling you ill from the Massachusetts Commonwealth, checking in with the family. Happy holy day, happy holy night to all the Moors on the call, all the Muslims around the world. Shabbat shalom, Islam and peace.
Islam, my sister, Deputy Sheik is Carla Green ill. Thank you so much for checking in. We appreciate you this evening. Glad to have you with us. Islam family, anyone else checking in?
Islam, Deputy Sheikah. This is Brother Gore Ill and family calling from the South Carolina Republic. Wishing all the Muslims on the call happy holy day, happy holy night. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, and peace. Islam.
Islam, Brother Gore Ill and family, thank you so much for checking in. Good to have you with us this evening. Islam. Anyone else checking in this evening?
Islam, Deputy Sheikah. Trusting all as well.
All is truly well, sir. How about you?
Truly divine, peaceful, giving thanks. Giving thanks for your presence as well, Royal Sister. This is Brother Deputy Sheik Cook Bay calling the Florida Republic and family, wishing all Muslims around the world, east, west, north, and south, a blessed holy day, a blessed holy night. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Glad to be here, glad to rejuvenate with such divine energy in the royal family, Islam and light.
Islam, Deputy Sheik Cook Bay, thank you so much. You and the family, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Thank you, brother. Peace and love. Anyone else checking in this evening?
Islam,
Deputy Sheik, how are you?
Islam, Deputy Sheik. All is truly well. Trusting all is well with you and the family.
Islam, my brother, truly, all is truly well. Thank you.
Islam, giving thanks. This is Deputy Sheik Cornelius Sanders Bay calling out of Lake County, Florida Republic. Just want to wish all the Muslims around the world happy holy day, happy holy night. All the Moors that are on the call and all the Moors that are not on the call. I just want to send a happy holy day to everyone. Juma Mubarak, Shabbat Shalom.
Islam. Thank you, Deputy Sheik Cornelius Sanders Bay, for checking in. We appreciate you so much. Thank you, brother. Anyone else checking in? Islam. No. Islam. Okay, at this time, we'll be going into the reading of our Shabbat Holy Unity Prayer that we're instructed to read half hour or so after sundown every Friday night, the beginning and the bringing in of our Sabbath. Islam, may I have a reader for our Shabbat Unity Prayer, Islam? Any volunteers for our
Islam?
Unity? Islam.
Islam. This is Deputy Sheikah Norma Solomon Hill. I would read the Shabbat Shalom prayer. Islam.
Islam, Deputy Sheikah. Thank you so much for stepping forward. I appreciate you. And you have the floor, my sister.
Thank you, beloved. Islam family, this is Deputy Sheikah Norma Solomon Hill, calling out of the Bronx County in the New York Republic. First and foremost, I rise to my highest heights, giving all perfect praise and the highest honor to Allah, the Mother, Father, God of the universe. Giving honor to our ancestors, both known and unknown, naming and recognizing all true and divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, and to our most illustrious Hebrew prophet in this new era of time, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, in his first, second, and third form. I remain standing, giving honor to our National Grand Sheikh Joe Bratton Bey, to all of the nobles of our grand body, to all of our officials, both national and local, to all of our sheikesses, to our sheiks, to our deputy sheikesses, to our deputy sheiks, to our citizens, members, students, children, and any guests that may be on the call this evening. I greet all in and with Islam. I'll be reading in, bringing in the Shabbat Sabbath. Bismillah, in the name of Allah. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. O Most High, Thou the Creatress of all there is, Thou the All of Love, the Omnipotent, the All-Providing, the All of Love. We come to Thee this Sabbath Eve, grateful for Your imbuing us with the radiant substance of health these 7 days past, endowing us with vibrant presence in all areas of our living. We thank Thee for the blessing of divine substance of wealth flowing into our lives these 7 days past, filling our life with abundance and greatness. We thank You for all these blessings, and we bless Thy name and worship Thee and Thee alone. We bless the creation past and pray Thou will find our deeds, our work, our service to Thee, approving in Thy sight by Your grace. We love Thee. We love Thee. We love Thee, O Most High. We bless the creation yet manifesting, thanking Thee for the breath of life and the radiant substance of health permeating our beings, endowing us with vibrant presence in all areas of our lives. Ever praying that our deeds, our work, our service to Thee in this creation will be found approving in Thy sight. Insha'Allah. We thank Thee for the flow of the divine substance of wealth, this creation, filling our lives with abundance and greatness. We thank Thee. SubhanAllah. We thank You. Truly, without Thee, the all-providing, we are lost. And with Thee, the omnipotent, the victory is ever ours. We thank You for Your indwelling spirit, speaking and directing us to our best and highest good. May we ever hear Your voice, heed Your word, and manifest Your will. May our hearts ever know Thy presence, our minds overflow with Thy thoughts, our eyes see Thy divinity, our mouth speak Thy words, our hands accomplish Thy work, our feet walk Thy path. We thank You for the wisdom to know Thy will, the fortitude to manifest Thy will, the perseverance to persist in Thy way until Thy will be done. We love and thank You, Divine One. We love and thank You for every opportunity to serve Thee, to accomplish Thy will. Thy will be done. May Thy indwelling spirit guide and protect us this creation as we build and manifest thy divine estate in the living now, giving thanks and praises to thee and thee alone. We love thee. We love thee. We love thee, O Most High. Amen. Ashe. Amun Ra. Selah. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Islam and peace.
Islam, Deputy Sheikah, Norma Solomon Ill, thank you so much for that well-paced and heartfelt read this evening about unity, prayer, our Shabbat unity, prayer. Thank you so much. Again, Most High bless the reading of our Constitution and bylaws, our additional laws, and certainly our Shabbat unity prayer, Islam. Islam, again, I'll take this opportunity to invite any guests, members, or visitors who may have just joined the call and would like to acknowledge their presence. Please press ** to unmute your line. Give us your name and where you're calling from. Islam.
Islam, Deputy Sheikah, all is well. Deputy Sheikah is part himself, all is well.
Yes, ma'am. All is truly well. How about with you?
All is truly well with me and the family. This is the Thomas Bay. This is Deputy Sheikah from the Thomas Bay, the Thomas Bay family checking in. Happy Holy Night to you all. Peace and love.
Islam, Deputy Sheikah, Thomas Bay and family. Good to have you all with us this evening. Thank you so much for checking in. Islam. Islam, is there anyone else? Islam.
Islam. This is Deputy Sheikah E. Marie Lee Bay, calling out of Arizona Republic, checking in on the call, wishing everybody on the call happy holy day, happy holy night to all Muslims around the world. Islam.
Islam, Deputy Sheikah, thank you so much for checking in. Good to hear your vibration this evening. Thank you so much.
Islam. Islam, Brother Andre Wimbush, Detroit, Michigan, giving praises to the Most High. May Allah be a sweet holy name. Honors to the beloved Prophet Noble Gerard Lee. Honors that was pre-beginnings. Honors to you. Peace and love, love and peace.
Islam, Brother Andre Wimbush, thank you, sir, for checking in. We appreciate you joining us this evening. Good to hear your vibration. Islam family, anyone else?
Islam.
Islam,
Deputy Sheikah. This is Deputy Sheikh Ramel Hyacinth Ill, your brother calling out of Kings County, New York Republic, saying Islam and Shalom Alaikum. Happy Holy Night. Juma Mubarak to everyone on the call. Happy Holy Day. Much love and happy Holy Night. Holy Day to all the Muslims all over the world as well.
Islam, Deputy Sheikh, thank you so much for checking in. We appreciate you. Good to hear your vibration this evening. Thank you, sir. Islam, anyone else checking in?
Islam, Deputy Sheikah.
Islam, Deputy.
We have 27 participants on the call. Islam,
Deputy Sheikh, thank you for the information. Islam,
Deputy Sheikah. All is well with you and the family?
Islam, sister, all is truly well. How about with you and your family?
All is well. Thank you. Islam family, this is Nadej Joseph from Quebec Republic, wishing you all a happy holy day, happy holy night, Islam and peace.
Islam, Sister Joseph, thank you so much for calling in. We certainly are glad to have you with us this evening. Always good to hear your vibration. Thank you for checking in. Islam, is there anyone else? Islam?
How you doing, Deputy Sheikah? Islam,
brother.
Rico Moore from Arizona Republic. Just checking in. Good to hear your vibration. Happy Holy Day.
Islam, brother. Good to hear your vibration as well. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you, Deputy Sheikah. Peace.
Islam, brother. Peace and love. Islam, anyone else checking in?
Islam,
Islam.
Islamism. All is well, Deputy Sheikah.
All is truly well, sir. How about with you?
All is truly well. Checking in with all my Moors and Muslims on a phone call on this Holy Resurrection Day. Loving y'all. This is your brother, Jermaine Michael Fowler Hill. Sending nothing but love to all the Moors and Muslims on this call today. Islam. Peace.
Islam, brother. Thank you so much for checking in. Good to hear your vibration as well this evening. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Islam. Anyone else checking in?
Islam. How you doing
Islam.
today, Deputy Sheikah?
All is truly well, sir. How about with you?
All is truly well with me. Mark Sturdivant, Michigan Republic, calling in. First, I want to rise to my highest of heights, give praises to Allah and honors to the Prophet. Also want to give honors to the brother Marcus Garvey for his great works. Also want to give honors to Moors that's on this call this evening and Moors all over the world. Islam?
Islam, Brother Sturdivant. Thank you so much for checking in. We appreciate you joining us this evening. Good to hear your vibration as well. Thank you so much for checking in. Islam, Moors. Anyone else checking in before we get to our chapter read for this evening? Islam. Islam?
Islam, this is Cynthia Ridgway from the New York Republic. I'd like to say happy holy day and happy holy night to all the Moors on the line. Islam. Peace.
Islam, sister. We appreciate you checking in with us this evening. So glad you could join us.
Thank you, Deputy Sheikah.
Islam. Islam, anyone else checking in? Okay, we'll get back to anyone that needs to check in after we go through our chapter read. Islam, at this time, we'll be going into our chapter read, this creation from the Holy Koran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, our Circle 7, Divine Instructions by the Prophet, reading of chapter 36, Holy Instructions from the Prophet, Know Thyself. Beautiful, beautiful chapter. We do have a few corrections for this chapter. In the title, some of you may have already made these corrections, but in the title, the word instruction is in some of the printouts. It should be instructions with an S. So if you don't have an S added to holy instructions, please add an S to instructions. In verse 4, add a D to the word repose. So it should be reposed with the D. And then strike the word on and replace that word with the word in, I-N. In verse 7, place a semicolon after the word eternal and strike the semicolon after the word at and replace it with a comma. In verse 10, strike the T from the word descent and replace it with a D for the word descend. Islam. At this time, I'm asking for a volunteer to step forward to read our chapter, please. Chapter 36, Holy Instructions from the Prophet, Know Thyself. Islam.
Islam.
Islam, brother. I think we heard a sister check in first.
Oh, all right. I yield. I didn't hear, sister. I yield.
Thank you, Deputy Sheik. Islam, sister. Islam, did we have a sister stepping forward to read our chapter, or was sister checking in? Islam, Deputy Sheik Cornelia Sanders Bay, we'll turn the floor over to you at this time.
Islam, Deputy Sheik is giving thanks. This is Deputy Sheik Cornelia Sanders Bay, calling in from Lake County, Florida Republic. Bismillah, Ad-Akman, Ad-Ahim. First and foremost, I'd like to rise to my highest heights and give all perfect praise to our Father, God Allah, acknowledging our ancestors, known and unknown, recognizing and naming all true and divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, and the last prophet in these days and times, our illustrious Hebrew prophet, noble Jew Ali, in his first, second, and third form. I'd like to remain standing and send those honors to our National Grand Sheikh, Joe Bratton Bay, all national officials at headquarters in Baltimore, Maryland, all sheiks, sheikesses, deputy sheiks, and deputy sheikesses, all of our friends, visitors, guests, students, members, children. I greet everyone with Islam. I will be reading chapter 36, Holy Instructions from the Prophet, Know Thyself. Weak and ignorant as thou art, O man, humble as thou oughtest to be, O child of the dust. Wouldst thou raise thy thoughts to infinite wisdom? Wouldst thou see omnipotence displayed before thee? Contemplate thine frame. Fearfully and wonderfully art thou made. Praise therefore thy Creator with awe and rejoice before him with reverence. Wherefore of all creatures art thou only erect, but that thou shouldest behold his works. Wherefore art thou to behold, but that thou mayest admire them? Wherefore to admire, but thou mayest adore there in thy Creator? Wherefore is consciousness reposed in thee alone, and whence is it derived to thee? It is not in flesh to think, it is not in bones to reason. The lion knoweth not that worms shall eat him. The ox perceiveth not that he is fed for slaughter. Something is added to thee, unlike to what thou seest. Something informs that thy clay higher than all is the object of thy senses. Behold, what is it? The body remaineth perfect after it is fled. Therefore, it is no part of it. It is immaterial. Therefore, it is eternal. It is free to act. Therefore, it is accountable for its actions. Knoweth the ass the use of food, because his teeth mow down the herbage? Or standeth the crocodile erect, although his backbone is as straight as thine? Allah formed thee as he has formed these. After them all wert thou created. Superiority and command were given thee over all. And of his own breath did he communicate to thee the principle of knowledge. Know thyself in the pride of his creation, the line uniting divine and matter. Behold, a part of Allah himself within thee. Remember thine own dignity, nor dare descend to evil or to meanness. Who planted terror in the tail of the serpent? Who clothed the neck of the horse with thunder? Even he who have instructed thee to crush the one under thy feet and to tame the other to thy purpose. And that concludes the reading of our chapter 36. Islam. Islam, can I be heard?
Islam. I
Yes,
apologize.
brother.
My phone was on mute. Islam, Deputy Sheikh, thank you so much for stepping forward and reading our chapter for the evening, Holy Instructions from the Prophet, Know Thyself. I appreciate you stepping forward, brother, to read that chapter, Islam. Thanks again. Islam, at this time, I will be going into the commentary. First, I want to open up the, give the commentary for not only this chapter, but commentary actually relating to the next 9 chapters from 36 to 44, Islam. Chapters 36 through 44, Know Thyself. This unit of 9 chapters constitutes the Know Thyself selection of our Circle 7 Quran. Although the first of these is entitled Know Thyself, all 9 chapters treat the theme of Know Thyself, are all dedicated to helping us think through our actualize the principles and concepts of chapter 35, thereby manifesting the higher self life as described in all the preceding chapters. These chapters, though flowery, poetic, masterfully written, direct, definitive, and more, are placed in our book at this point to give us the methods of empowering the tools of the workshop of the mind and bringing our thoughts and speech and actions in line with the will of the Most High Creator. While all directly addresses our challenges as physical beings, the first 4 chapters, 36 through 39, appear to speak to our higher thought aspirations, while the subsequent 5 address pitfalls and carnal existence. Traveling from the creation and fall of man through the 18 years of Yashua and Yahya divine ministry, touching upon the building of the family into the world of dualities and stations until our holy covenant, and beyond to our social responsibilities and obligations, thereby acknowledging our commitment to Allah in chapter 35. We arrive here to study self in order to know self. The first 4 chapters are affirmations of our divine nature and right adab or conduct. The last 5 chapters relate the challenges which confront us in our quest to live a higher self-life, ever thinking, speaking, and acting in our higher self. In this, the first 9 chapters, we open with a pronouncement followed by 2 questions and a directive. The words fearfully and wonderfully are used to describe our physical frame, and we are advised to praise our Creator with awe and to rejoice before her with reverence. Then we encounter 3 rhetorical questions, each sharing its answer and leading to the subsequent question. Each answer builds upon the preceding to bring us to a point of recognition and acknowledgement. Again, a question as to why those who we term human possess consciousness of our divinity, dignity, and destiny, and no other creature. How did we receive such consciousness? Verse 5 and 6 speak to the presence of something beyond the physical, which agitates and propels consciousness. We are then asked to examine this occurrence. Verse 7 reaffirms to us the separation of divinity from created matter and emphasizes accountability of our use of our consciousness. Verse 8 brings a further example of that separation, utilizing the example of the ass and the crocodile. Verse 9 reaffirms the physical body receiving superiority and command over creation via our divine spark, communicating to us the principle of knowledge. We are told to know thyself, the pride of his creation, uniting divinity and matter, ever seeing our Allah self, ever remembering our divine station. We cannot afford to descend to evil or to meanness. Then, our final directive of this chapter, let your divinity lead your flesh, and all will be well. The reassuring chapters develop this thought to its fullness. Stay with us, Moors. Islam. So at this time, before I open up the floor, I would like to get the ball rolling and exercise my 5 senses on this beautiful chapter, the holy instructions from the prophet, know thyself. And I know afterwards my brothers and sisters will follow with their beautiful demonstrations, and we will have an interesting and informative discussion this evening. Islam. So, when I look at this chapter, I go to verse 16, and our key 16 in our 101 questionnaire, and it reads, how did the prophet begin to uplift the Moorish Americans? And the answer is by teaching them to be themselves. When we look at our Holy Koran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, our Circle 7, the inside cover, the first sentence is what? Know thyself and Allah. And within these pages and chapter to chapter, we are learning about self. Key 66 of our 101 questionnaire asks, how many selves are there? And the answer is 2. Because we know and are learning that we live in a world of duality. And this same duality exists within all of us in the form of the higher self and the lower self. And there's always a great battle between the two. As in chapter 15 of our Circle 7, when Jesus went to the wilderness to be alone with Allah, yes, but that lower self was there with him. Verse 3 in chapter 15, Jesus said, my lower self is strong. By many ties I am bound down to cardinal life. And who was he talking to? He was talking to himself. And in chapter 3, we are given a comprehensive description of both the higher and lower self. Having knowledge of self is something that it is embedded within, as it's the most important information that every human being should be aware of. However, we do understand that there are outside forces that are the cause of such knowledge being suppressed, canceled, or denied. Islam. So looking at verse 1, and for me, I've come to realize since coming into Moorish science that in order for me to comprehend some things when going through these lessons, I have to keep a dictionary close by. So with this lesson, and starting with the first verse, saying, weak and arrogant as thou art, O man, Humble as thou oughtest to be, O child of the dust, wouldst thou raise thy thoughts to infinite wisdom? Wouldst thou see omnipotence displayed before thee? Contemplate thy frame. So with this lesson, starting with the description of weak and arrogant, as they ought, I was kind of thrown for a second, but then I remembered what the prophet said when he said that the fallen sons and daughters of the Asiatic nation of North America need to learn to love instead of hate, and to know their higher and lower self. And to me, those two words, those two descriptions, weak and arrogant, is of course to me describes man in his fallen state and lacking strength and good sense. And then it says, wouldst thou rise thy thoughts to infinite wisdom? Again, to me, means that we need to go back to the state of mind of our ancient forefathers, that divine nature, because we were not born in sin. We had a natural knowledge and love of self. And then, wouldst thou see omnipotence displayed before thee? So again, I'm thinking that that part is saying, don't you see the unlimited power before you and in you? The Grand Sheik tells us that our ancestors are always in us and around us, and that our ancestors never leave us. They're always there for us. Then it says, to contemplate thy frame, meaning give some long, serious thought of your frame, your form, this physical you. As I see it, the physical you becomes these lessons because they are all about you. This book of secrets gives you the blueprint of what you need to know pertaining to you. And then when you really and truly internalize the lesson, and we learn more about unfolding of our God self, we ultimately become the message that we bring. We become that light, that guiding light to bring others out of utter darkness, Islam. And with that, I'll open up the floor for anyone that wants to comment, anyone that wants to exercise their 5 senses on this chapter. Islam, the floor is now open.
Islam.
Islam, Deputy Sheik Cornelia Sanders Gray, you have the floor.
Giving thanks, beloved. It's Deputy Sheik Cornelia Sanders Bay, calling out of Lake County, Florida Republic. We rise into my highest of heights and give all perfect praises to Allah. Definitely a beautiful chapter, beautiful commentary, and a beautiful exercise done by Deputy Sheikus. I just want to add on to the cipher and demonstrate my 5 senses. All right, chapter 36. We know 3 and 6 is 9. 9 is the number of fulfillment, wisdom, self-examination, enlightenment, and higher consciousness are all qualities associated with the number 9. 9 is also connected to one's higher purpose and ultimate life mission. This number encourages us to take a bird's eye view of our lives. So by this being chapter 36 and the title, Know Thyself, so we're going to go into the definition of thyself. Thyself is an old-fashioned, poetic, or religious word for yourself. When you are speaking to only one person, that's in the Collins English Dictionary. And the Living Webster's Encyclopedic Dictionary of the English Language, thyself, used reflectively without thou, its usage being similar to that of yourself. So it boils down to yourself. When we open our Circle 7 Holy Quran on page 3, the highest degree is know thyself and thy Father God Allah. Key number 66. How many of our 101 questions, more questions for Quran children? How many selves are there? 2. Key 67. Name them, higher self and lower self. Key 70. What is the higher self? The higher self is the mother of virtues and the harmonies of life and breeds justice, mercy, love, and right. Key 73. What does the lower self breed? Hatred, slander, lewdness, murder, theft, and everything that harms. So when we see that it says know thyself, so these are the cells because it's 2 cells. So you got to know them both. And the creation and fall of man is our first chapter. Man is a thought of Allah, and subhanallah, man is a thought of Allah. All thoughts of Allah are infinite. They are not measured up by time, for the things that are concerned with time begin and end. The thoughts of Allah are the everlasting of the past until the never-ending days to come. And so is man, the spirit man. And man was clothed in flesh, and flesh perfected man must pass through all the ways of life. And so a carnal was full manifest, a nature that sprung forth from the fleshly things. Without a foe, a soldier never knows his strength. And the exercise of thought must be developed by the exercise of strength. So this carnal nature soon became a foe that man must fight, that he might be the strength of Allah made manifest. And we see in chapter 3, Elihu's lessons, the unity of life, starting with verse 5, there are 2 selves, the higher self and the lower self. The higher self is human spirit clothed with soul, made in the form of Allah. The lower self, the carnal self, the body of desires, is a reflection of the higher self, distorted by the murky ethers of the flesh. The lower self is an illusion and will pass away. The higher self is Allah in man and will not pass away. The higher self is the embodiment of truth. The lower self is truth reversed, and so is falsehood manifest. The higher self is justice, mercy, love, and right. The lower self is what the higher self is not. The lower self breeds hatred, slander, lewdness, murder, theft, and everything that harms. The higher self is the mother of virtues and the harmonies of life. The lower self is rich in promises, but poor in blessedness and peace. It offers pleasure, joy, and satisfying gain, but gives unrest, misery, and death. It gives men apples that are lovely to the eye and pleasant to the smell. Their cores are full of bitterness and gall. If you would ask me what to study, I would say yourselves, and you well have studied then, and then would ask me what to study next, I would reply yourselves. He who knows well his lower self knows the illusions of the world, knows of things that pass away, and he who knows his higher self knows Allah, knows well the things that cannot pass away. The only devil from which man must be redeemed is self, the lower self. If man will find his devil, he must look within. His name is self. And then starting with verse 1, weak is a lower vibration. Ignorance is not knowing. As you are, man/woman, humble as you should be, the child of melanin. From dust to dust, from ashes to ashes, to dust, Would your thoughts, would your thoughts to, would your thoughts to infinite wisdom, everlasting wisdom? Would you see the unlimited power, great power? Think deeply your frame. So I'll just read the verse first and then give it to. Weak and ignorant as thou art, O man, humble as thou artest be, O child of dust. Wouldst thou raise thy thought to infinite wisdom? Wilt thou see the omnipotent displayed before thee? Contemplate thy frame. So we know that being weak is a lower vibration. Ignorant is just basically not knowing. As you are, man/woman, humble as you should be, child of melanin, because we know that dust, from ashes to ashes, to dust, that's the sign of melanin. Would you raise your thoughts to infinite wisdom, which is everlasting wisdom? And would you see the unlimited power, the great power? Think deeply your frame. Verse 2, fearfully and wonderfully art thou made. Praise therefore thy Creator with awe, and rejoice before him with reverence. Fearfully and wonderful are you made. Moors are men upright, independent, and fearless, who care for their loved ones. The perfume from the creation fall of man, the perfumes and the odors of the true sensations and all that of love were clothed in flesh, given in all perfect praise to Allah. Verse 3, wherefore of all creatures thou art only erect, but thou should behold his works, wherefore thou art behold, but thou mayest admire them, wherefore to admire, thou mayest adore their and their creator. We stand erect, facing the east, 5 fingers erect together on the left, 2 fingers erect and together on the right. But thou shalt behold his works, see or observe his works. In order to see and admire Allah, one must know this, know thyself. Key number 1, who made you? Allah. Key number 2, who is Allah? Allah is the Father of the universe. Key number 3, can we see him? No. Key number 4, where's the nearest place we can meet him? In the heart. Key 71, can the highest soul pass away? No. Key 72, why? Because it is Allah and man. Verse 4, wherefore is consciousness reposed in thee alone, and whence is it derived from? Is it derived to thee? Wherefore is consciousness placed in you alone, and when it is received or obtained to you? Verse 5, it is not in flesh to think, it is not in bones to reason. The lion knows not the worm shall eat him. The ox perceiveth not that he is fed for slaughter. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. The flesh and bones are that which we are clothed with. Can your clothes think for you, your pants, sneakers, etc.? The lion, who is a mighty animal, strong and represents strength and the rich. But the worm is looked at as weak, poor, and will eat the lion, which the lion doesn't know this. The ox is strong but is not aware or doesn't notice that he is fed for slaughter. Verse 6, something is added to thee, unlike to what thou seest. Something informs thy clay, higher than all the object of thy senses. Behold, what is it? Something is added to you, unlike what you see, unlike to what you see. Something informs thy clay, higher than all the object of the senses. What is it? I refer to key 2, who is Allah. Allah is the Father of the universe. Key 3, can we see him? No. Key 4, where's the nearest place we can meet him? In the heart. So with that being said, this is heaven, which is a state of mind, the highest of self, the crown chakra, and complemented by the pineal gland, which we see with our 3 eyes, the 2 physical and the 3rd eye, which is the key to number 4. Verse number 7, the body remaineth perfect after it is fled. Therefore, there's no part of it. It is immaterial. Therefore, it is eternal. It is free to act. Therefore, it is accountable for its actions. The body remains perfect as it is transitioned from. Therefore, there's no part of it. It is unimportant once the spirit has left it. These bodies are loaned to us for a time and a time and a time. We are not the body. Therefore, it is eternal, having no beginning and no end, time lasting forever. Our higher self cannot pass away. It is free to act. Therefore, it is accountable for its actions. Our spirit is free to act, connecting us to our 7 acts and our divine constitution and bylaws. Spiritually speaking, we are accountable for all our actions and to live by our divine constitution and bylaws. Verse 8, knoweth the ass the use of food because his teeth mow down the herbage, or standeth the crocodile, although his backbone is as straight as ours. So does the ass know the use of food because his teeth eat the herbage food, or the crocodile stand erect even though his backbone is as straight as ours? Verse 9, in the creation and fall of man, we all were formed after one after the other, which were given rule over everything. And verse 10, know yourself in the pride of his creation. When you know yourself, you can trace yourself in your Father God Allah. You will then know your religion, your free national name, your creator, and your very creation. The line uniting divinity, the spirit, and the matter, the physical. Observe a part of Allah himself within you. Key 90, can a man be a Negro, black, colored, or Ethiopian? No. Key 91, why? Because man is made in the image and after the likeness of God, Allah. Key 71, can the highest soul pass away? No. Key 72, why? Because it is law and man. Remember your own way of behaving and or serious, admirable. Look at yourself. Do not dare to lower yourself to your lower self, evil or meanness. Key 65, what is the devil sometimes called? The lower self. And verse 11, who planted terror in the tail of the serpent? My answer is Key 97, who is Elohim. Elohim is the seven created spirits that created everything that ever was, is, and evermore to be. And with that, I put a period behind my commentary and demonstration. Yield the floor back to you, Deputy Sheikis. I appreciate the time. Islam.
Islam, Deputy Sheik. Thank you so much for those jewels. Appreciate you expressing yourself in regards to this chapter, Holy Instructions from the Prophet. Know thyself. A lot of in-depth information you gave. We appreciate that. Hopefully, it has given some clarity to this chapter for those that are searching for answers. Islam, is there anyone else who would like to exercise their five senses on this chapter?
Islam.
Islam, brother.
Islam is in Deputy Sheik as Brother Cook Bay, Deputy Sheik. I'd like to exercise my five senses.
You have the floor. Pardon yourself.
Nah, you're fine, you're fine. Thank you so much. First, I want to give honors to the beautiful and powerful commentary you brought forward, demonstration, to the Deputy Sheik S. Carolyn Young Bay, Royal Sis Star, and also my royal brother, Deputy Sheik Cornelius Sanders Bay. Very powerful demonstrations. So I'm going to keep the cipher rolling as well and add my spoke to the wheel. First, I want to rise to give all perfect praise to Allah, the great God of the universe, giving all honors to our true and divine prophets, namely recognizing Jesus, Muhammed, Buddha, and Confucius, and Allah's illustrious prophet in these days and times, the Honorable Prophet Noble U.S.A. In the first, second, and third form, also extending those honors to his harbinger, Marcus Messiah Garvey, to our ancestors seen and unseen, known and unknown, within and without. Extending those honors to the National Grand Sheik of our government, National Grand Sheik Joe Bratton Bay and his royal staff, international, national, executive, legislative, and judicial. All sheikesses and sheiks, deputy sheikesses and all deputy sheiks, members, guests, children, angels, guests and listeners on the call. This is your brother, Deputy Sheik Cook Bay. Very powerful chapter. Yes, a lot of jewels to put inside our jewelry box and wear proudly as we resurrect out of this dead state of mind, giving thanks to the Prophet. Exercising my five senses, know thyself. Coming out of the Committing Proverbs. Know who and what you are, where you came from, what you are doing here, and where you are going. Self-knowledge is the true prelude to Christ consciousness. Without a genuine self-knowledge of self, other knowledge often becomes a kind of clutter in the mind. Now, with correct self-knowledge, other knowledge reveals its meaning and ripens into wisdom, a wise dome, accumulated learning and good sense. What caught my eye, definitely, the whole chapter caught my eye, but there was 3 different verses that actually seem to answer themselves as a riddle. And I'll be verse 4, 6, and 10. And I'll go ahead and continue. Verse 4 says, wherefore is consciousness reposed in thee alone, and whence is it derived to thee? Now, the definition for consciousness is a noun. It means state of being awake and aware of one's surroundings. Awareness of perception of something by a person. The fact of awareness by the mind of itself and the world. Consciousness emerges from the operations of the brain. For within the heart of the brain, as the Deputy Sheik also quoted, will be that pineal gland. that seat or that throne of the Most High, that crown chakra or that kether, that Christ consciousness, that those pearly gates. And for opposed means situated or kept in a particular place. So within man, in the womb of man, was put forward within them that consciousness, that Allah, which we fell from remembering. We forgot. Now, verse 6, something is added to thee, unlike to what thou seest. Something informs thy clay. Higher than all is the object of thy senses. Behold, what is it? Verse 10, know thyself in the pride of his creation, the line uniting divinity and matter. Behold, a part of Allah himself within thee. Remember thine own dignity, nor dare descend to evil or to meanness. Verse 10 basically shows the higher self and the lower self, connecting to chapter 1. For man is a thought of Allah, not to be redundant, but just to go ahead and full circle. It says, man is a thought of Allah, all thoughts of Allah are infinite. They are not measured up by time, for the things that are connected with time begin and end. So spirit man as a seed of Allah held deep within himself the attributes of every part of Allah. Now we've seen that in verse 10 it says, they're not, quote it perfectly. Verse 10, ending verse, it says, nor dare descend to evil or to meanness, which we see without being connected to key 73, that lower self, hatred, slander, lewdness, murder, theft, and everything that harms. And definitely as far as that Allah, that remembering of Allah within self, that connecting the divinity with that matter, would be key 70, that higher self, that mother of virtues, harmonies of life, breeding justice, mercy, love, and right. Now, in essence, this is all we knew as far as the lower self portion. All we knew coming into this world is meanness, evilness, that dissension, not loving ourselves, caring not of what's going on, just living for that moment. Now, that's all we knew as a people nation when we fell into this utter darkness and everything became just physical, vibrating at a slower and gross vibration, as you would say, off balance. We lost all knowledge of Allah and start looking out of self. So we got to give thanks to Allah for sending us his holy prophet, who was a thought of Allah manifested in the flesh to save nations from the wrath of Allah and to reawaken the true man and true womb of man, who are the thoughts of Allah, everlasting of the past, unto the never-ending days to come, that spirit man, resurrecting the dry bones out of the valley of the shadow of death, putting on divine flesh, divine light, and becoming one with Allah, reawakening us out of the amnesia, dead state. And with that, I say love and light, Islam.
Islam, Deputy Sheikh Cook Bay, thank you so much for those enlightening words and dropping even more jewels. And sounding redundant is never an issue for me because, repetition is the key. The more we hear, the more we learn. Even if it's the same thing over and over again, you learn a little the first time and you learn a little the next time. So with that, I appreciate all the words of wisdom and appreciate your energy. Islam, thank you so much. Islam, is there anyone else that would like to elaborate or have any questions or comments on this chapter? Islam Wars, this is our holy night. This is a day set aside for our spiritual renewal and rejuvenation.
Islam.
Islam.
Islam, Islam Sheikh is Deputy Sheikh is all is well.
All is well, sir. All is truly well. You have the floor.
Islam. I like to rise to my highest heights and a different understanding with the movement with Marcus Garvey. I guess that would be Selassie I the first. Being that we a mixed nationality, it means a lot in this day and time. I continue rising to my highest heights. And give all purpose praise to Allah and Amarah and all of the prophets before me, um, known and unknown. The one known to us, Jesus, Confucius, Muhammed, Buddha, and the last prophet in these days and time, our illustrious Hebrew prophet, Noble Drew Ali, in his first, second, and third form. I like to extend those honors to our Grand National Sheikh of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Joe Bratton Bay, all the sheikesses, assistant sheikesses, to all of the Muslims on the call, all my mobiles that's holding on to this movement. I like to greet all with Islam. Great demonstration from all my brothers and sisters that came before me on the call. I like to exercise my five on the chapter, Know Thyself. And growing up in this movement in America as being a product of what's been going on before us in this European understanding, you know what I mean, and not understanding what's going on and being thankful that the Prophet brought us the R5 and R2, which is a representation of our compass and our square. On a Masonic level, it has different understandings. So, with that being said, know thyself. When the Prophet told us to know thyself, we're not talking 5,000 years that's known to man. 2,000 now, we're in 2020. 3,000 years before that, they crucified Christ in 2000, which started 0 BC, and their history goes 3,000 years before Christ, which is in the Roman Empire as far as they can go. Our history goes farther than that. So for the Prophet to bring us the wisdom and understanding to know ourselves, to stay grounded, then we will understand after we get past the European ideology, to know that we were here before their understanding, to know that we lasted in the understanding before the understanding that we know now. So now, after all of the judgmentation and even being dissected down to a Roman numeral, literally, you know what I mean, from your eyes sockets to your nose and what's going on in the history that's been hid from us. And to know that even in the Bible, when you go back to where the confusion came with the angels and man and the mixation and the loss of knowledge and the things that transpired to where we at now, to hold on to an understanding that was brought to us from the slave master that he got from our forefathers, but he watered it down for his own benefits, and then for us to have to be a seed of Allah given to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali with the helpings of the forerunner Marcus Mosiah Garvey. We're here now, you know, and we represent Moorish Science Temple of America, and we have a diplex understanding to bring to the world, and we have to stay grounded with that, because to try to give understanding to a world, in our world, in America, the most powerful nation on earth, and to be a product of a lost dynasty, so-called, that they whitewashed after 5,000 years, you have to be an archaeologist or a scientists to understand what's been going on with your pigment, to understand why the prophet say you're not Negro, colored, Ethiopian, black, these things, but you will have to read and have to understand the English understanding of who you're supposed to be, a human first, before who you are as an individual with nationality and DNA from before to now, to the understanding of what they're trying to do as to who we are, as going from the Moroccan Empire, the Berbers, the Turks, from being called Afro-Asiatics to all of these things. With this, I just want to say, with all of my brothers and sisters, continue studying. The prophet did bring forth the tools and the knowledge for us to learn self, and know thyself was one of the things that, with the Moorish Science Temple of America, they said if the prophet became before us, but if we was ever in the day and time to be able to ask the prophet what it is that we need to know, the prophet would tell us, know thyself. With that, I want to say Islam and peace.
Islam, Islam, Islam. Beautiful, beautiful demonstration. Thank you so much, brother, for bringing forth your spoken will. Thank you for that demonstration. Beautiful demonstration. Thank you. Islam, is there anyone else that would like to elaborate on this chapter?
Islam.
Islam.
Islam. Islam Sheikah.
Islam.
Young Bay. Islam. I'm Sheikh Lawrence Young Bay, National Treasurer and Divine Minister out of North Carolina Republic. First, I rise to my highest height, giving all perfect praises to Allah, to honor all our ancestors. Some we know of, some we don't. To honor to all our true and divine prophets, just to name a few: Jesus, Buddha, and Confucius, and the last prophet of these days and times, our Savior, our Redeemer, our illustrious Hebrew prophet, Noble Drew Allah in the first, second, and third form. I extend my honors to the forerunner, for Noble Drew Allah, Marcus Mosaic Garvey, and to our National Grand Chief Joe Bratton Bay, and to the Grand Body, to the Sheikhs, Sheikesses, Deputy Sheikhs, and Deputy Sheikesses, brothers and sisters, and parents in our Sunday school, and everyone on the call. I greet you with love and Islam, 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 which means peace, peace, peace. Islam, very powerful chapter, and all the elaborations that before me. Much gratitude to those who elaborate on this chapter. They gave a lot of jewels, and man, I wish there's a few chapters that I was going to read. Somebody read before me, but that's good. It means that like the Deputy Speaker said, repetition. That's how we got into this mess. Repetition. Learning this negative European psychology over and over and over. We got so where our parents would teach us some things with the European. However it goes, it kept the ball rolling. So we have to do this repetition. So the brother who said about repetition, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Glad that all of you could elaborate the way you could. In verse 10 in chapter 36, hold instructions from the prophet, know thyself. Verse 10, know thyself and thy pride of his creation. the line uniting divinity and matter. Behold a part of Allah. With thee, remember thine own dignity, nor dare descend to evil or to meanness. Now, in order for us not to deal with that evil or meanness, we have to go to we will go to key 46 in our 101 questionnaire, and it states, what did Jesus say that would make you free? Truth. And 47 states, what is truth? Truth is art. And 48 states, what is art? Art is Allah. 49, can truth change? Truth cannot change or pass away. Number 50, what other name do we give to truth? Holy breath. And holy breath is supreme intelligence. So this, in order for him to know himself, he has to deal with supreme intelligence at some time or another. He has to get rid of his higher self. It's like a covenant he has within himself, and a covenant is a binding and solemn agreement to do or keep from doing a specified thing, keeping in line with our higher self, which is not always easy. I'd like to read something from chapter 5 in our Circle 7. And it was Jesus, after he had, his parents had found him, and he was in the temple disputing with the doctors of the law. And after they got back, he wrought with Joseph as a carpenter, or worked with Joseph as a carpenter. One day, as he was bringing forth his tools for work, he said, these tools remind me of the ones we handle in the workshop of the mind, where things are made of thought and where we build up character. And so to know thyself is to build the character of the higher self. And it like I said, it's not easy to do. It's a task where you're building up one time, and then something, a little voice might come in, not the still voice now. The loud voice may come in and tell you to do something the opposite, but you still try to deal with that higher self. So as we use the square to measure all our lines, we straighten out the crooked places of the way and make the corners of our conduct square. We use the compass to draw the circles around our passions and desires, to keep them in the bonds of righteousness. We use the axe to cut away the knotty, useless, and ungainly parts and make the character symmetrical. We use the hammer to drive home the truth and pound it in until it is a part of every part. Now, in dealing with the higher self, sometimes we have to pound that truth in us and pound it in until there's no room for the negative self. But the negative self is still there, but we pound that truth in so often where the negative don't have room to get in. And we use the plane to smooth the rough, uneven surfaces of joint and block and board. and go to build a temple of the truth. Now, sometimes a board can be unsurfaced, can have knots in them, and all kinds of things. Symbolic, that's our life, having knots in our life, and all kinds of uneven boards, which means our life is a little bit uneven. And we have to smooth away those rough, uneven surfaces to build the temple of the truth, to make it smooth and easy. You know, the chisel, line, the plummet, and the saw all have their uses in the workshop of the mind. Now we know, like the chisel, you can use a chisel and you can chip away at wood and you can make it look like a masterpiece, or you can make it look a little ragged. However you use the chisel. But when you take your time to use the chisel, which determines patience, you can work it in a way where you have a masterpiece, and more people will compliment you on that and say how great what you've done was a great thing. But yet and still, that's not the chisel. It's one way of looking at it, but the chisel, you can chisel away the rough, uneven places and make things look good, you know, or you can chisel away the negative thoughts you may have in your mind and make sure that they're positive. And then the ladder with its trinity of steps: faith, hope, and love. On it, we climb up to the dome of purity in life. So we are constantly dealing with our higher self, and to always know ourselves, know thyself. When you deal with the good things, that's why you want to know yourself. And as a brother stated, a man who knows himself the person who knows the illusion of the world can surely recognize himself more so than if he doesn't. And on the 12-step ladder, we'll ascend until we reach the pinnacle of that which life is spent to build the temple of perfected man. And in reaching that life, that's all what we are striving for, to perfect perfect our minds. And that's why we deal with the higher self all the time, because we want to be on Allah's plane. You see, Allah is superior to us, and we want to think as though like Allah. We want to be a master man or a mastermind, a man who rules others and control authority, but not necessarily rule others, but to in the temple we are taught to be leaders and not followers, and we teach everybody to be a leader and not a follower. Though we know that everybody can't be a leader at the same time, so we teach and we try to perfect them. If we ask questions, we try to help them, and we try to help our brothers and our sisters raise our thoughts to where we can know ourselves. And with that, I'll say peace and blessings, and I'll turn it back into the hands of Deputy Sheikah's young Bay. Islam, Deputy Sheikah.
Islam, Divine Minister.
Thank you so very much for that elaboration and adding some more jewels to the jewel box, as the brother put it. Thank you so much. If there's no one else that wishes to elaborate or exercise their five senses, then we'll start to close out for the evening. Much gratitude to your family for your presence and your positive energy and your participation in this creation as we start to close out. Before I do, Islam.
Bismillah.
Islam,
can I say something before we close? Islam?
Absolutely. You have the floor.
Much obliged. Give thanks, gratitude. Happy Holy Creation Day, happy Holy Friday. Bismillah, Rahman Rahim. Ever rising, giving perfect praises to Allah. Church of all worlds. To his divine prophets. The illustrious Hebrew prophet in these days, and I prophet Noble U.S.A. Sending those on the National Grand Chief and officials, officers, and all the members on the call, all the families on the call, Muslims all over the world. Beautiful relations on the chapter, and I think this chapter is very profound because just in the title, it presents a warning, doesn't it? Yes? Know thyself. Why? Well, we found ourselves in a condition before our prophet left, not knowing self. And as we know, we are so a thought of Allah and manifested for the physical world. We must also bear in mind that the our thoughts are the foundation of all things. Yeah. Do we come up with a word before we think about it? Or do we think of the word and then pronounce it? No, we could say the word aloud or just refer to in the mind where, that is where we meet our great God, yeah? Islam. Wow. Yeah, so the word and thought, I was thinking, they seem to be one when the word is not uttered. I pray I'm making sense, because this thing is just coming to me right now as my brothers and sisters are saying what they're saying. So I vibes off what you vibes and off of and come up with my senses to connect some dots. So manifested in flesh, man, that is as two selves, high self, low self. Or when the manifested or the manifest falls, and it is said that the manifested is dead. Does that leave us in oneself? That's wrong. And the question too is, what is the self? Can we pinpoint that self? Because as individuals on the call now, we would think that we are individual and not self, which is connected or which connects us all to our Mother, Father, God, Allah. We possess the attributes of Allah within ourselves. And they say if you want to find self, you got to look within, because self is Allah. So we must be mindful when we talk about self, because if you say self, we refer to a lot of great God. And the great God, Allah is love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is just at all times. Man, on the other hand, sometimes he's partial. So to stay within self is to stay within that truth, which is Allah. Yeah. Example, when something is added to water, i.e. sugar, it becomes sugar and water, not just water. Something is added, just like the physical is added to the spiritual, but the spirit is first. As above, so below. And that is why we must know self, because as above, self is true, perfect, one with Allah. Below, we we add, we take on physical form added to that first form. The first form should be able to control the second form, making it the slave. And we should be slaves to Allah anyway. Islam, return the floor to the moderator. The creation to all. Islam.
Islam, Deputy Sheikh. Thank you for that add-on. Certainly is food for thought. Thank you. We appreciate your spoke in this evening's conversation with Will. So thank you again. Again, Morris, at this time, we're going to be closing out for the evening. As always, I'd like to acknowledge and welcome any guests and or visitors who may have joined in the call this evening, and give you an opportunity to acknowledge and introduce yourself. Please give us your name and where you're calling from. Islam, if there's anyone that would like to do that at this time, please unmute your phones by pressing star, and you have the floor. Islam. Okay, again, I would like to thank you all for joining us on the call tonight. Beautiful, beautiful demonstrations. Many, many jewels have been dropped. And we thank you all, trusting that you've heard something that will give you cause to join us again on our Holy Night conference call, inshallah. Of course, it being so, next Friday, November 5th, 2021, we will be, for those who will be joining us, in Baltimore, and we will have our National Holy Night meeting there at the Blacks and Wax Mansion, located at 1601 to 1603 East North Avenue. And that's, again, Baltimore, Maryland, 21213. And, of course, on Saturday, November 6th, 2021, will be the naturalization ceremony to be held at the Champagne Ballroom, located at 2701 West Patapsco Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21230, from 12 to 4 p.m. I'm praying that you all can be in attendance, inshallah. So at this time, I have a few announcements. Our Sunday school is every Sunday at 12 noon, with our adult Sunday school immediately following. Join us by dialing in at 443-961-4434. Sunday school conference playback for everyone who is interested in listening to or reviewing our Sunday school recordings can go to our website at Moorish American National Republic and go to the resource tab to the Sunday school recordings to access our recordings. Sunday school enrollment, those interested can send an email to sundayschool@moorishamericannationalrepublic.com for registration and to receive your info packet. Please include the names of all children, their ages, birth dates, and school grades. Our town Town Hall conference call is every Sunday evening at 7:30, where we discuss the national side of the movement. Join us by dialing in at 443-961-4434. Our Moorish School of Law and History will begin to reconvene in January of 2022. You can go and register on our website at Moorish American National Republic.com for further instructions. Our Friday National Holy Night call is every Friday evening at 9 p.m. You can join us by dialing 443-961-4434. Our members forum call is every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Members in good standing can send an email to webmaster@MoorishamericanNationalRepublic.com for instructions. Our Sisters Auxiliary call is every fourth Thursday of each month. Sisters wanting to connect with other feminine energy can send an email to sistersauxiliary13@gmail.com for instructions. Our Young Men's Business League call is every third Thursday of each month. For those interested, can send an email to youngmensbusinessleague@gmail.com. Skills and Talents Committees. Our committees need your leadership and skills. Those interested can visit our website at MoorishamericanNationalRepublic.com. At this time, we will open our floor up for any announcements from our national officials. Islam?
Islam.
First, I'll rise. This is Sheikh Lawrence Young Bay, Lee Rising to my highest height. Giving all perfect praises to Allah and to our ancestors, some we know, some we don't, to our true and divine prophets, just to name a few, Jesus, Muhammed, Buddha, and Confucius, and the last prophet these days and times, our Savior, our Redeemer, our illustrious Hebrew prophet, noble Jew Allah, the first form, the second form, and third form. This administrative announcement is to the members. Keeping in line with Act 7 of the Divine Constitution and Bylaws, members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. When mailing your dues payment, please include your dues card with your payment. Make a copy of your dues card and keep it home for your records. Members should not fill in any information on their dues card. Headquarters will make all entries and initial the dues cards. Payments received will be automatically applied to any past due balances first until your account is brought current. Officers, sheikhs, sheikhesses, deputy sheikhs, and deputy sheikhesses are required to pay $35 a month. Members are required to pay $20 a month. Also, if you change your address, please indicate so with a note. When you mail your dues card, this is so we can update and mark the records correctly. This concludes my administrative announcement for the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America, Incorporated, number 13, Moorish American National Republic. I turn it back into the hands of the Deputy Sheikhs. Islam, thank you for the time, Sheikhs.
Islam, beloved. Islam. At this time, we will proceed with the reading of the divine warning by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Islam. Divine warning by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Prophets warn all Muslims, governors ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the street. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Jew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways, by order of Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Islam, at this time, I'd like to check to see if the Grand Sheikh is available. Islam? Islam. At this time, Moors, we will confirm ourselves to ourselves by reading the Holy Covenant of the Asiatic Nation. This affirmation can be found on page 35 of our Circle 7, Chapter 25. We will read in first person plural. Islam, please unmute your line and repeat after me. We are the children of one Father.
We are the children of one Father.
Provided for by His care.
Provided for.
And the breast of one mother has given us suck.
And the breast of one mother has given us suck.
Let the bonds of affection therefore unite us with our brothers and sisters.
Unite us with our brothers and sisters.
That peace and happiness may dwell in our Father's house.
That peace and happiness may dwell in our Father's house.
And when we separate in the world, remember the relation.
And when we separate in the world, remember the relation
that bindeth us to love and unity.
That bindeth us to love and unity.
And prefer not a stranger before our own blood.
And prefer not a stranger before our own blood.
If our brother is in adversity, assist him.
If our brother is in adversity, assist him.
If our sister is in trouble, forsake her not.
If our sister is in trouble, forsake her not.
So shall the fortunes of our Father.
So shall the fortunes of our Father
contribute to the support of his whole race.
Contribute to the support of his whole race.
And his care be continued to us all.
and his care be continued to us
Continue to us all.
In our love to each other.
and our love
In
to
our
each
love
other.
to each other.
Islam family, this will bring our meeting to a close. We close out with our Moorish American prayer. For those of you who are able, please stand in an erect posture, facing the east. Our heels are together and our toes are separated at a 45-degree angle. Our upper arms are parallel to the floor. Our forearms are upright with 5 fingers erect and together on the left hand, and 5 fingers, and 2 fingers erect and together on the right hand. Islam. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is our protector, our guide, and our salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Ameen. Peace. Islam family, thank you all for joining us and participating with us in this creation. Till we meet again, inshallah, stay safe and sane. Peace and love, Moors. Peace.